Hello, beautiful beings. Thank you so much for dropping by this channel. Good morning, afternoon, or evening. For me, it's early in the morning. Got up, did some prayer and meditation, and now I'm just feeling fired up and inspired to talk about the topic of actual and fake non-duality. What else am I going to do at 4:16 in the morning? So before we hop into things, a warm welcome to anyone who's new to this channel. This channel is about helping people to understand the difference between actual non-duality and nonsense non-duality, often called Neo-Advaita, and how to recover from the very harmful effects of Neo-Advaita. So I just felt the need to, I've said it before and I will continue to say it, is I am not a guru, I'm not enlightened, and I'm not here to teach non-duality. I'm not here to teach Advaita Vedanta. I'm not qualified. I don't abide or live in a perpetual, effortless state of peace. And what I try to do here is teach enough authentic non-duality to help people break free from nonsense non-duality, because that's what worked for me. Is learning enough traditional non-duality to really see that what Ramana Maharshi and Adi Shankara taught and what these modern quote non-duality, actual neo non-duality teachers are teaching are actually radically different. It's like I needed that because I was so convinced that what I was being taught in these Neo-Advaita satsangs was true and the truth. I was literally locked into it. And as I've explained before, I consider Neo-Advaita to be a kind of mental maze, a mental cult, that once you get into it, it's very hard to get out. It wasn't my case. If you go far down into it, it's very hard to escape. And coming to understand the difference between traditional Advaita Vedanta and Neo-Advaita nonsense, to really see, oh my gosh, while they use some of the same language, which Neo-Advaita stole, their message is completely different. And when I say completely, I'm talking night and day. And that can be very confusing because if you listen to the two, you're going to hear overlap. It sounds similar, and it really is not. It's, this, in essence, this whole channel, not this whole channel, but most of this channel, I've been talking about this for years, how they're different and how seeing that difference helped me to break free. So in my last video, I talked about how in traditional Advaita Vedanta, they even have a concept of, I don't want to say God, and I don't want to say creator. Those are the English words of Bhagavan, of a Lord, of a ruler, of the director of the universe, and that understanding this is an essential part, and actually cultivating, again, I don't want to say relationship because that's an English word, but cultivating a connection and understanding what Bhagavan is considered an essential part of the traditional Advaita path. And some people may be very shocked by that. I was shocked to discover that. I mean, Neo-Advaita, a lot of Neo-Advaita is nihilistic and atheistic, which is mind-boggling when you think about it. But Neo-Advaita is mind-boggling when you think about it. But I want to be crystal clear. When I come on here, I'm not promoting Advaita Vedanta. I'm not saying, hey, you need to come to have an understanding of Bhagavan. You need to cultivate bhakti or connection, or again, relationship is English concept, but all I'm doing is saying, hey, this is what Advaita teaches, to help people break free of the wrong idea that Neo-Advaita is non-duality, that Neo-Advaita is Advaita Vedanta. Now, personally, for me, yes, cultivating a connection and understanding of a personal supreme being has been very healing for me and very helpful, and quite a journey, and still is a journey. And that's what worked for me in the more recovery, healing aspect of this journey. But that doesn't mean that's going to be helpful for other people. One person who I know through another, a brother of a very dear friend, he had such a horrible experience with Neo-Advaita that he won't even talk about what happened. This person had a psychotic break through Neo-Advaita. He won't even talk about what happened to him, and he will have nothing to do with anything spiritual. And I can understand that. I've gone through phases where I don't want anything to do. In the past, I've gone through those phases where I don't want anything to do with anything philosophical or spiritual, because Neo-Advaita just burnt me so bad and led to this kind of crazy mind loop. And I'm sure there are people who listen to this channel who are in that place, who, I've met and talked with people who had a psychotic break, almost had a psychotic break, felt suicidal, completely had their lives wrecked, got to a place of complete dysfunction. Now, one of the paradoxical things is this doesn't happen to everyone who gets involved in Neo-Advaita, which can be hard to fathom. And I'm still trying to understand it. Is my current theory is that Neo-Advaita will take I won't say everyone, that if you have deep instability or suffering and you come to Neo-Advaita looking for help, it's just a one-way ticket to hell. If there's deep personality struggles or suffering, and that was me. And then I think there are those people who are maybe reasonably balanced, but maybe struggling with life, or those who are reasonably balanced. Neo-Advaita will probably not have the detrimental impact. I've seen it. The Neo-Advaita satsang I hung out in for almost 20 years, in that very satsang, one person had a full-on psychotic break. Another person had a full-on nervous breakdown, hasn't recovered almost 20 years later. It took me to the brink of suicide over and over and over. And most of the people who attended there, they seemed to be fine. Those people seemed to be reasonably, you could say, balanced human beings who weren't really suffering a lot. And I think for those people, Neo-Advaita was more like a religion. Like you go there, but you don't take it too seriously. And then there were a few people in that satsang who did take it seriously, yet seemed to have a reasonable amount of stability. And they just seemed to be sort of confused. Like if you talk to them, they seemed okay. But if you talk to them about non-duality, kind of weird things would come out of their mouth. It's like they were caught in the mental loop, but it wasn't really wrecking them. So this is all just based on my personal observations. I don't know why Neo-Advaita doesn't wreck the lives of most people. That's my best guess, is it has to do with the amount of stability that you show up in. And this makes sense because in traditional Advaita Vedanta, before you're even taught non-dual philosophy, much less non-dual meditation, there's rigorous preparation where the personality is actually strengthened and balanced first. And so these people who don't seem to be deeply harmed, I'm guessing they had a reasonable amount of stability. And that's just my best guess at this point. So in terms of how to recover and heal, I think it's a very individual process. I don't know that there's a formula. I wish I could find, or someone could find, a formula to be like, here's how you recover from Neo-Advaita. One thing I want to look into is how people recover from cults and see if there's some medicine there to help with that. But I'm very, very crystal clear that Neo-Advaita is not non-duality and is not Advaita Vedanta, and that understanding this really helped me break away. And with some of the people I've worked one-on-one with, once they really get the difference and once they see the difference and understand some of the more preparatory or foundational phases of the path that are left out, then they're able to let go of the nonsense. Then they're able to put in the place of the nonsense a functional philosophy, whether it be traditional non-duality or another spiritual path. So those are a few of my thoughts at 4:30 in the morning. Hi to my live viewers. Thank you so much for dropping by. And my prayers go out to everyone who's been impacted by nonsense, non-duality. Big blessing to all of you. Thank you as always for dropping by.